Tom Silva has been the linchpin of this crumbling mansion for more than 4 decades. Wearing my tool belt and rolling up my sleeves, I am ready to get to work. But just lately, at 77 years old, he revealed the parts that the majority of spectators missed. There were points when he was almost written off the program, and you'd be mistaken if you thought it was just another retirement hint. Tom didn't do what he did to get the media's attention for no good reason. Everything he has endured was mirrored in it. Behind the scenes as well as during construction, things haven't always been as neat and tidy as the remodeled houses we've seen him create. Not because he was bored or exhausted, but there was a period many years ago when Tom almost gave up. It all started when the show's creative direction began to stray from what actually happened on set, including the tight timeline, the continual shifting of camera angles, and the overwhelming pressure to make everything appear beautiful instead of being excellent. Everything was at odds with his principles. Therefore, he secretly wrote his letter of resignation. He never turned it in, but it was genuine enough that he and his family had a long talk about what to do when he outgrew this house. When did things change? Audiences tuned in. He refrained from acting out or demanding attention. All he wanted was to construct things correctly. Plus, they let him that room. After that, Tom became more than just a contractor. He became an integral part of the show's plot, and there was substance in that voice. However, production politics were not the root of every problem. A tragic loss befell the performance in 2018. Tom had a hand in hiring and mentoring new crew member Austin Wilson. However, Wilson passed away unexpectedly while on set. It was more than simply a team setback for Tom, it hit close to home. He was more than simply a co-worker to Austin, he was cherished by all. Tom contemplated withdrawing entirely from the situation due to the overwhelming grief, but eventually, with the help of the crew and Austin's loved ones, he returned. He persisted not out of necessity, but out of a sense of duty to the group, the audience, and perhaps even to himself. Tom has always been unique because of his strong sense of duty. He isn't one to pose for snapshots. His enthusiasm for the craft drives him to build. The audience has faith in him because of his sincerity and dedication to performing a good job. Also, this explains why the team and the audience were so resistant when producers wanted to bring in younger, flashier actors. They were afraid they would lose the man who had shown them how to measure for a new window and how to hang paneling. They yearned for the rock-solid individual who never sought attention but had all the solutions. As time went on, Tom began to play an increasingly larger supporting role. Not only was he using his hammer skills, but he was also advising on project decisions, establishing technical standards, and guiding the team's future leaders. Charlie Silva, his nephew, landed a spot in the program in that way. Tom didn't assign him a part. To ensure his readiness, he put him through his paces on modest tasks initially. Like all of Tom's work, the transfer was subtle, based on mutual trust and demonstrated competence. He continues to put on his boots and walk job sites, inspecting frames and making sure the work lives up to the standard he has lived by his whole life, even though he is 77 years old. Fame isn't driving him. This is not a farewell tour. He has other plans. He's putting in the effort because he believes in the significance of the task. In a society where shortcuts and quick cures abound, such unwavering commitment is truly remarkable. Now that we've covered that, Tom Silva is more than simply the man shown on TV hammering nails. Every major refurbishment this old house has undergone over the years has relied on him. Projects that fall under the category of major necessitate strategic planning, high-level decision-making, and the type of meticulous, behind-the-scenes juggling that would put the majority of people to sleep. From advising on engineering and design to selecting appropriate materials and ensuring everything works on TV without, collapsing in the middle of the picture, Tom has been in charge of everything. His position may not be particularly well respected, but the squad is aware of who is in charge. Whoever you see holding a game plan and a tape measure is the one wearing the flannel. Tom has remained a constant throughout the years, even though the hosts have changed many times, from Bob Vila to Steve Thomas and now Kevin O'Connor. Similar to a beloved, well-used instrument, he continues to serve his purpose, consistently turns up, and mysteriously does not corrode. He started out as a contractor, but his responsibilities soon grew to include ensuring the project's professional and physical stability. It was obvious that Tom wasn't merely a teammate when Norm Abrams left in 2022. He worked as the team's glue. Producers didn't only retain his services, they sought his assistance in developing the projects, arranging the season's schedule, and overseeing the construction. Because once you've done something well for a while, people will finally acknowledge your authority. If you've tuned in to any of the Brookline, Westford, or Ridgewood seasons from 2021-20, 025, you would have seen that Tom was heavily involved. Throughout the whole project, from initial planning and safety measures to ensuring that the crew's equipment could manage sawdust and high-definition cameras. Aside from being unusually powerful, Tom also possessed the unusual ability to choose his own successor. Naturally, he didn't decide that in a week. No, he did what he always does and tried it out first. His nephew Charlie Silva got off to a sluggish start, managed tasks less demanding positions. Tom progressively elevated him to the position of lead builder when he had shown himself. No gimmicks, no favors from the family, just hard work and respect Silva way. However, Tom continued after Charlie. Maro with finishing, Jen with landscaping, and Heath with electrical have all relied on him for assistance. Everything that plugs in, grows roots, or requires a second coat has likely been double-checked by Tom. He has taken on even more since 2020, collaborating with local trade schools and the Generation Next initiative of this historic house to assist in the training of future skilled workers. Even though he's busy with advisory board work and forum appearances, he still has time to show off tools to children who still don't understand the difference between a lunchbox and a level. Tom's continued presence in a world when shows frequently replace actors like socks is the most bizarre part. Prompt, reliable, and in high demand at all times. According to PBS polls, he is one of the most beloved PBS personalities, particularly among disco-era audiences. But that's not all that makes him appealing. It's that unusual combination of expertise and persistence. Has the perfect blend of intelligence and humility to demystify intricate undertakings. Doing that well requires talent. Tom Silva and his brother were once just two guys with a toolbox, high standards and a complete and utter hatred for sloppy shortcuts until they became the face of craftsmanship on national television. To become famous, Silva Brothers Construction didn't do things the fast way or follow fads. Their moniker was fashioned in the same manner as their houses, sturdy, level, and then all matters were resolved. Their careful attention to detail attracted the attention of several well-known clients, including WGBH-TV, who entrusted them with the construction of the Victory Garden set. Indeed, while his competitors were occupied with deck repairs, Tom was busy establishing the groundwork for what would turn out to be a remarkably successful career in instructional television. It became clear that that work was more than just another one. Producer Russell Marash took notice of Tom because of it. And now you're probably wondering, where's my level? This old house was the site of a recent experiment, and they needed his help. Tom joined the Dorchester, Massachusetts renovation crew as a subcontractor for the Greek revival. The public quickly came to understand that this was more than simply a handyman. He possessed that unusual talent of making difficult tasks appear simple and complex solutions appear obvious. He was formally confirmed as the show's permanent contractor in 1988. Since then, nobody has even considered replacing him. In a world that is constantly changing, Tom became a constant throughout the following 4 decades. With his characteristic steady hand and no-nonsense attitude, Tom patiently oversaw one difficult job after another, regardless of the hosts that came and went, the receding hairlines, or the changes in tool technology. Countless PBS renovations, ranging from small colonial homes to large historic restorations, bear his signature. With each beam he laid, he was doing more than simply constructing dwellings. He was safeguarding legacies. Wetherby Farm near Westwood was the site of one of his most enduring tests in the late 1990s. Envision this: a dilapidated house made of timber, its sloping roof seemed ready to give way beneath the weight of history. Monochrome geese. Envision this: a dilapidated house made of timber, its sloping roof seemed ready to give way beneath the weight of history. Similar to performing orthopedic surgery while maintaining the appearance of a patient-ready runway, Tom and his colleagues had to discover a means to strengthen the building while preserving its historic charm. Obviously, he succeeded. Why? Because Tom calmly takes out his pencil and begins to sketch up answers whenever others start to freak out. However, his impact extends well beyond the workplace. Along with this, Tom has spent a considerable amount of time making his acquired expertise useful to others. He frequently answers readers' questions in an old house magazine, who have likely taken on more drywall than they can handle. Thankfully, his guidance is not filled with jargon and is instead simple, practical, and direct. Like a builder, he writes, "Express yourself clearly, firmly, and with the perfect amount of support." Classrooms also began to incorporate his work. All over New England, trade schools rely on his instructional insights, tactics, and breakdowns of processes. The truth is, you have to follow Tom's instructions to the letter when installing crown molding. His 2004 co-authored books, Complete Remodeling and The Homeowner's Manual, are staples in the library of any serious do-it-yourselfer, on the same shelf as the coffee-stained plans and the bag of screws that they claim they will organize one day. Tom Silva didn't suddenly become famous after stepping onto a set. It was his due. A production meeting, a single column, and a single challenging project at a time. He crafted his profession in the same meticulous, methodical, and skillful manner as he constructs a house, brick by brick. Even though he's 77 years old, he's still working. He is not obliged to be, but rather chooses to be. No big farewell, no retirement announcements, just another day of him doing what he loves, boosting confidence in others, and likely leaving some younger folks scratching their heads over how he manages to keep going. To be honest, you may have assumed that Tom Silva was going to retire soon. Put your thoughts on pause. "No, I'm still in," was Silva's main point in an early this year conversation with internal production. He has stated his intention to remain for upcoming seasons. The enormous rehabilitation projects in Westford and Ridgewood are still in full swing, yes. Hold on, there's more good news. This guy renovates more than just houses. He renovates expectations as well. Though you've seen him on screen whacking nails and spitting wisdom around like drywall, he's been secretly orchestrating Silva Brothers Construction's operations. While he relinquished managerial responsibilities to his nephew Charlie in 2022 and 2024, he maintained a firm grasp on the company's strategic decisions throughout that time. Charlie is likely still double-checking everything before showing Tom. Be not deceived. Tom may have taken a step back from the day-to-day work. Despite this, he continues to attend strategy meetings, cast technical stuff as if they were in a heist film, and provide the ultimate approval on top-secret high-stakes initiatives. Not a problem, Charlie. I thought he quit making the important calls, right? Guess whose opinion matters the most when deciding how to allocate resources, how to improve equipment, or whether to purchase that new excavator? To Tom's. Translation-wise builder wizard is a senior advisor. Without having to worry about paperwork or following up on invoices, he can continue doing the fun stuff. We term that a win-win situation. By the way, he's not just occupied with house construction. The industry is being built by him. Tom is the go-to guy for a number of Massachusetts trade groups. If the Northeast Regional Council for Building and Remodeling wants to increase training or raise safety standards, who does it contact? No, not Ghostbusters. Silva gets a call. A technical database for self-employed tradesmen was co-created by the man. If you're in Massachusetts and you have a nail gun, it's likely that Silva was involved in writing the instructions. And you know what? Tom was also instrumental in shaping subsequent revisions to Boston's building rules following the COVID-19 pandemic. He isn't merely keeping up. He is in fact changing the rules. Being 77 years old, how is he managing to keep track of everything? Organized chaos in a nutshell. Sigh, I could use 3 more. Knowing wisdom and coffee, Tom has this great arrangement going where he splits his time between mentoring, advising, engineering, and production. It's a hybrid of a leadership course and a home improvement show. In essence, he has figured out how veterans may keep making a difference without succumbing to burnout. Tom the Magician has always been a reserved individual. Just him and Susan, his wife since the late 1000. No ostentatious red carpets or salacious headlines. Their warm suburban Boston home from the 19th century, and everyone who lived there. Truly, it is the correct choice. Tom in the background has been steadily constructing a solid legacy, while others have been chasing stardom. Then, is Tom Silva going to take it easy? Unless you consider switching gears between tasks to be a slowdown, then yes. His blood still contains sawdust, and he can't seem to get away from blueprints. To be perfectly honest, we're not complaining. There is more to Tom Silva's home than simply his residence. I'm really enjoying it. He and his family have worked tirelessly over the years to transform it into a serene gem through a series of little renovations. This house is featured in This Ancient House magazine, not due to its ostentatiousness, but rather its intelligence, purpose, and heartfelt construction. His children, Kate and TJ, have forged their own paths, defying expectations that they would continue in their father's toolbelt's career. Whenever the family business requires assistance, they step in. Not in the realm of construction or television. They're the unsung heroes who keep the wheels of commerce turning, particularly in the financial and media industries. Tom's house, it turns out, is a physical embodiment of his whole work philosophy. Always construct with purpose, preserve what counts, and enhance what makes sense. That is precisely why the Massachusetts Council on Historic Preservation requested him to deliver a keynote speech at a conference about historic renovation. He discussed his personal refurbishment process, which he conducted with an eye towards sustainability, preserving the house's original character while efficiently utilizing the available space. A careful reimagining took place. It was more than a simple remodel. In reality, the project was considered an exemplar of successful non-commercial restoration and is now preserved in the state's architectural archives. But here's the thing. Tom isn't one to chase attention. He has a reputation for keeping his private life out of the public eye, while he has dedicated his life's work to advancing craftsmanship and education. His colleagues claim that he is the one who has maintained the strategy of keeping it about the work, not about me, since 2005. This is why he has so much respect from others. Being famous isn't something he cares about. Doing a decent job and assisting others are his only goals. Not only that, but Tom is secretly involved in something very significant. For the benefit of youth, particularly those from low-income families, he collaborates with organizations that teach trade skills. It's not something he's talking about much online or in interviews, but they do list him as a professional advisor in their annual reports. Can you tell me what he does? A little bit of everything, including analyzing training programs, assisting with tool needs assessment, and occasionally even making an appearance to explain techniques in person. Tom is well known for more than only his construction work in the trades community. A guiding light, an inspiration, and a calm voice, he is all three. To this day, his guidelines are considered the gold standard for responsible, safe construction. In fact, that is the main thing that distinguishes Tom Silva. In his calm, constant and honest style, he is helping to construct more than just houses. He is working to build futures. Thinking about it makes it seem incredible. Several technical high schools in Massachusetts now include Tom Silva's writings in their curricula. Video footage from an old house is being used to teach students about construction, drawing upon his projects for analysis. He has earned that much trust with his efforts, approved for both television and the classroom. Here is the thing that sets Tom apart from the rest. Becoming famous has never been his goal. Neither gaudy home expos nor power tool commercials will feature him. Don't expect to see him courting endorsement deals or working to make a fortune off of his reputation. That was an intentional decision. In order to pay attention to the task and the people who do it, he has consistently told the noise to shut up. These days, isn't that unusual? Tom Silva is dedicated to his art, constructing homes, and training others at a time when everyone else is attempting to get popularity online. He exemplifies the idea that understatement can yield significant results. His profound honesty and unwavering reliability have garnered him immense admiration and esteem. Always prompt, thorough, and unflinching in his work, he is the type of guy you can count on. Plus, he's been at it for quite some time. Tom is more than simply a brilliant builder in the eyes of his tradespeople. They perceive as somebody who personifies the value of being proud of one's accomplishments. Someone who knows that the why behind your actions is equally as important as the how. Yeah, fashions come and go, but Tom Silva is here to stay. Reliable demeanor, an expert artisan. And, to be honest, it serves as a timely reminder that, even in a fast-paced, technology-driven society, doing things properly is important. To appreciate Tom and others like him is to have experienced the joy of a well-done project, the satisfying sound of a hammer striking its mark, or the pleasant aroma of sawdust. Additionally, consider sharing this story with others if you find it engaging. Because the unsung heroes often have the greatest impact, please share this with someone who appreciates quality work and kind people.